Well, welcome. Today in the spotlight, we have Blair Looney. So, Blair, welcome. Tell us a little bit about what you do for the Better Business Bureau.
Well, Anna, thank you for the opportunity to talk with you today and my fellow Rotarians. 11 years ago, I became president and CEO of the Better Business Bureau in Fresno. And we are the Better Business Bureau serving Central California and now the Inland Empire, which we acquired in 2014. I was on the board of the BBB for 10 years prior to getting this position. 3 of those years I served as board chair. And when my predecessor, Doug Broughton, announced that he was retiring, which was in 2010, several of the board members came towards me and said, you know, we know the advertising business hasn't been what it was when we went into that 2008 dip. And you're real interested in BBB. Why don't you apply for this position? Which I did. And I became one of 72 candidates in a nationwide search. And then made it through the oral interview and made it through the telephone interview and then made it through the meet with the board members, which was kind of fun because most of those people I had recruited when I was board chair to be on the board. And I had also been on the National Council of the Better Business Bureau board and had worked on the strategic plan. So when Ruth Evans asked me a question about what I would do in the next 3 to 5 years, should I be selected, I already knew what the International Association was going to be doing. And I just started in chapter and verse. She served me the ball right in the center of the plate, right in the sweet spot, and I had to hit it. And she had to stop me because I had such an answer, you know, that was where the organization was going. That's how I got hired.
Yeah, you knew the strategic plan. So
yeah, I used the strategic plan and no one else had that inside. So they hired me and I've been having a great time ever since then. And we've grown the BBB substantially, both in numbers of accredited businesses as well as revenue wise.
well, congratulations on
Thank
that.
you.
Yeah, so the Better Business Bureau is to help the marketplace, help businesses, help consumers get some answers that they need and find.
I describe the BBB as a standards-based community benefit organization created by a local community of trustworthy businesses in support of BBB's mission to provide reliable and unbiased information on the local marketplace to benefit consumers and businesses with their purchase decisions. And how we do that is we have 5, here's my little cheat sheet here, which I love to give to everybody, and I'd put on the tables at Rotary, but I'd get fined for it. So as I said, our mission is to be the leader in advancing marketplace trust. And we do that by creating a community of trustworthy businesses, which benefits the community. We set standards of marketplace trust. We have 8 standards of trust that are on here, and these sound very much like the Rotary 4-way test. Build trust, advertise honestly, tell the truth, be transparent, honor promises, be responsive, safeguard privacy, and embody integrity. If that doesn't sound like the 4-way test, I don't know what does. And then we encourage best practices in the marketplace, which is where we do our ethic awards annually. We celebrate those marketplace role models. And then we denounce substandard marketplace practices through our scam reports and through our outreach to let consumers know what guys are trying to take advantage of.
Yeah,
so that's what we do.
It's very helpful. I see you in the Fresno Bee talk about what's going on lately or what to watch for, and that's very helpful.
And you know what's really interesting about that? We base that on marketplace activity. So the number of complaints that we're hearing about businesses or scams that we're hearing about things that are going on, we then write to that. So it's very timely. So I have a whole department. There's 9 people in our operations who track marketplace activity, and they're broken up alphabetically because we track 135,000 businesses, and most of those we get complaints on are not even in our database. They're so new and into there. So last year we connected 2 million. I got to look at this number. 2,932,000 people to business profiles in our database. Almost 3 million people looked at our data. That's just the local Fresno BBB, looked at our database in there, which was an increase of 13% over the previous year. That's how relevant we are to helping those consumers before they make a decision to purchase. And from there, we had a 23% increase in our customer reviews. At BBB, you just can't go in and write a review. You can send your review into us. We vet your review with the business to confirm that you are a customer. And so most of our reviews are positive versus negative. And the interesting thing is when people come to the BBB, they don't come looking for information about how good a business is or whether they're licensed. They want to know the trash. They're trying to find out what's bad. And we post it. We post the complaints, we post the customer reviews, but both of those are vetted to prove that the consumer has actually had a marketplace interaction with the business. So that's a benefit of how we try to protect those businesses and help them with that. And last year, this is a number I'm really proud of. Last year, we increased our Get a Quote, which is a consumer being connected with a business who's looking for a quote on a project, by 48.4% over 2019. This is in time of COVID. People looking to have work done, but they're using the internet to connect with those businesses anonymously. They get a request from us. So we increased that number to 8,000 businesses were connected with consumers in our market area through our Get a Quote program. I don't know of another organization in the Valley that hooks businesses and consumers together. People don't think that we do that. So that was great. It was phenomenal. And I have two more numbers because I love numbers. And I just gave this to my board last week and they were stunned. We're known for complaints. When I started here, we were handling about 600 complaints a month. There were 3 people who were doing it. We now have a staff of 9 who handle complaints. We handle almost 1,000. We handle about 940 complaints a month. We do nearly 12,000 complaints a year, which last year was a 19% increase. So all of our activity in 2020 has exponentially grown. It's exploded. It's just blown up. These are all services we provide for free. They're paid for by the members who we have, the business who choose to be accredited with the Better Business Bureau. And just like Rotary, you have to be invited to be in Rotary. You have to be invited to become an accredited business with the BBB. And our salespeople are calling to invite people. And then my one last quote in the number of them, I almost gave up my segue into Rotary. My one last quote is on our website. Last year, 2020, we had 5,077,000 visitors to our website, our local website. That's how many people are interested in what's going on with the BBB and reading those reports. That's very cool. So there was my segue over into how Rotary and the BBB are very similar in the 4-way test and how we're connected, and why I like it. Because it's all built on honesty, integrity, and trustworthiness. And it starts with, is it the truth?
Yeah.
And that's number 1 at Rotary, and it's number 1 at BBB.
Well, it's incredible what service that you offer, and it's great to have that resource and knowledge, and what a great group of team you have there too. So thank you.
Yes.
So, well, let's segue into Rotary. So you were a vocational service director at one time. You've been a Fresno Fellow, a Paul Harris Fellow. You've been in the club, 46 years. I looked it up, you're a life member. And you had a background in advertising, marketing. Now you're with the Better Business Bureau. You're on your way. We're already in the pre-planning stages to become president, just after Karen Mussin's year. So tell us a little bit about your history with Rotary, how you got started.
Well, my father was my sponsor in 1974. And when I came into Rotary, I was the second youngest Rotarian in the club. Only Dewey Slater was a year younger than me. And Dewey and I have been friends since we were 15 years old. We've known each other. So I was the second youngest. It turns out that Dewey was actually, in the history of our Rotary Club, was the second youngest member to come in. The first person to be the youngest member to ever come in our Rotary Club, back when we paid attention to these kinds of things and kept that trivia, was Brenton Bradford, who went on to be, his father was club president, and Brenton went on to be club president, and Brenton was secretary of the club for an incredible amount of time. I had the wonderful pleasure of being the bulletin editor for Everett Norcross Sr., Papa Ed, and that was in 79 and 80. And I got in a little trouble during that time. I had broken my hand skiing, and I was trying to take notes at meetings left-handed, and some of the Rotarians helped me do that. And then we had one of those, we had to publish a bulletin every week because of our postal permit. And we had a period where we didn't have a meeting or two. So I made up a bulletin of a made up board of directors meeting when they were going to go looking for a permanent clubhouse for our Rotary Club. And so I published this whole fake story with some locations that I had chosen in the downtown area. And Ed Norcross's phone blew up of people in the real estate business calling, "What? How come I didn't know about this? I'm a Rotarian. I didn't get the listing," and all of that. So the bulletin goes out on Wednesday. Ed's phone blows up Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and we meet on Monday. And all of the Rotarians enjoyed me being called to the front of the club and being reprimanded by the president.
I bet that was a very large turnout on that day.
It was a fun meeting. It was one of my favorite.
You
And
couldn't have said
one of the things that, we enjoyed each other very much. He kind of, had fun with me because Ed had a great sense of humor. But I used to love it when we had nicknames for everybody. And that's one of the things as being bulletin editor. I got to know every Rotarian by name because we published their name in there. I got to know when their birthday was. And we used to have nicknames for people. Like Shake 'em Up was John Burkhart. The Doughboy was Ed Norcross because he's in the bakery business. Hot Hands, Al Quist, he was in the dairy business. Mr. Duck, Martin Winton Sr., fabulous, wonderful guy. And one of my favorite lines that we ever had was when Bob Shiner became president. He took the club from Looney to Crummy. So it went Looney, Shiner, Crummy. It was kind of fun. We had a lot of fun with each other back then, and then we got politically correct and we're afraid to say things to one another.
Yeah. Well, what are some things that our members don't know about you?
Well, what they don't know, that my original classification was advertising agency additional active. So that was the 4As. And then when I moved over to the BBB, I changed my classification to nonprofit. So that's how that came about. Some of the things they don't know about me. In high school, I was an All-American swimmer with Dewey Slater. We had a relay team that was unbeaten in the Valley. We won the Valley Championship. We never lost a meet in the 200 freestyle relay. That record still stands at Fresno High School today. It's because they discontinued the event. Stuff like that happens. In college, I went on to continue swimming, and one of the guys I swam against in high school, I swam with in college, and he was a past president of our Rotary Club, Doug Army. So there's my link. Dewey, past president and swimmer. Doug Army, past president and swimmer. It's my turn to be president and have been a swimmer. So that was kind of fun. I'm proud of a couple of awards that I've won. The American Advertising Federation Best in the West competition. I won that. And at the time in 1974, which was the same year I came into Rotary, that was a good year. I should buy lottery tickets for that with that number. We won the Best in the West for an advertising campaign we were doing for a local retail store. I'm a member of the American Advertising Federation Hall of Fame. And I got to look at that year. 3 years ago, I became a member of the California State University of Fresno Mass Communications Department Hall of Fame Fellow. And so those are a couple little things people don't know about, because, you know, those are those little things that sit on my office and there's no publicity about that stuff and it doesn't get in the bulletin. But, and then somehow I managed to keep them all real low profile and never get fined at Rotary for it.
Well, I'm sure we
But
could.
you know, recognition is one of my favorite things in Rotary.
It is great. It's a chance to get to know someone better and learn a little bit more about their business, just like what we did here today. So thank you so
Yes.
much. It was
And
always.
Thank you very much for this time. I know I've been chatting a lot, Anna, and you're
It's-
not used to that.
You're great. You're
But
great.
Jerry Lyles inspired me when he went on and talked. He was so well organized and he told us great stories. And Ed Norcross told us great stories.
Well, it's wonderful getting to know you a little bit better. Thank you for the stories. I know you're going to have some more for me, so I look forward to hearing more about that.
And I look forward to the opportunity to serve our Rotary Club.
Thank you for serving.
As I was told by my mentor in Rotary, when Rotary calls, you can't say no.
So true. So, thank you.
Thank you for your time.